What up, players? So today I'm going to make a video talking about the things to watch out for in Japanese nightlife. So for those of you who haven't seen this content before, I talk about game, I talk about Japan, I talk about picking up girls. If you're interested in that, like, comment, subscribe. Hit me up for free consultation. I also do boot camps in Japan, in Tokyo, actually anywhere around Japan, depending on the client. So if you're interested in that, hit me up for a free consultation, link in description. Anyway, so let's get right into the topic today. So I've been in Japan, next April it'll be a decade. So needless to say, I know a lot about Japan. And that includes nightlife. So, today I'm just going to talk about some things that you could look out for regarding the nightlife, because there are some things that you want to be careful about. Japan, everyone knows it's a very safe place. It's all, you're very unlikely to get attacked or robbed, but within the nightlife arena, there are some things that you want to be careful about. These days, there's a lot of people coming to Japan, all kinds of people, especially nowadays because the yen is so cheap, and you're getting it. Just a lot of people are taking advantage of that, coming over to Japan and checking the place out. So this could help you out, save you from getting ripped off. So here's the thing about Japan, like, nightlife, it varies around the country, but one thing that is common, the common denominator around the whole country, is that there are places like hostess clubs that are very particular to Japan. They are up and down the country, in every small town and city, and in all kinds of varieties and qualities. In general, I would tell people, like, avoid these kinds of places, but they come in so many different kinds of varieties. So I just want to talk about that. Regular nightlife regarding clubs, bars, and things like that, the quality of that kind of nightlife varies drastically from, like, city to city. In smaller cities around Japan, it can suck pretty badly, but in somewhere like Tokyo, it's pretty nuts. It's as good as it can get, probably. Although I'm growing out of nightlife, and I have been for a long time. I'm 35 now, so I'm not that interested in the whole, like, staying up till like first train. Although, every now and again I do it, but because it's, but it gets less and less. It just does. As you get older, it gets less and less, because it's like, yeah, kind of over this. It can be fun, but anyway, back to the topic at hand. So if you walk around any kind of city in Japan, you'll see signs with, like, bars. They look like, you think they might even look like a brothel or whatnot, and some of them might be, but I think starting off, the tame version of these kind of hostess clubs that you want to watch out for are called, like, snack bars. And these range in a wide variety of types, where, like, it could just be the staff there will generally be made up of women, hot chicks. They could be dressed normally, or they can dress normally, like, just kind of casual, sexy, ranging from in, like, some kind of fetish wear, or bikinis, or, like, schoolgirl outfits, or they come in all kinds of varieties. The thing you want to watch out for these places is that, you'll see a sign that'll say a certain price. Whatever, like, it could say, like, 5,000 yen. Not that much. I mean, that's probably like around $35 USD. I haven't checked the exchange rate recently, but it's, yeah, so about $35 for all you can drink for an hour. Not that bad, right? So you might, in a place with sexy chicks in it. But the thing is, first off, a lot of these places will actually refuse you if you can't speak Japanese. So, but it's for the places that won't refuse you, as they're the ones you want to watch out for, because a lot of these places will have hidden charges. You know, you buy the girl a drink, especially when you get drunk in these kinds of places. Just to deviate for a second, I not only have I've lived in Japan for 10 years, but I have a little insight into the actual industry because I actually worked in one for a month where I knew a girl. It was actually in America. It was like a Russian owned hostess club, and one of the bar staff was sick. So this was years ago, by the way. One of the bar staff was sick, so she asked me to do, you know, could I be part of this bar staff for a month, or, you know, temporarily. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to, like, just at weekends, just because I wanted to see what they're like, you know. Prior to this, I had never been, so I know what goes on in these kinds of places. You know, the one I worked in, there was Russian girls, there was Japanese girls, and there was like one American girl that worked there. So I know the kind of seediness and the kind of tricks that goes on there. You know, so anyway, you know, whenever you'll see that initial price, but first of all, that generally won't include tax. It won't include you spending time drinking with the girl. It won't include you buying the girl. So people that are naive about the system and all that won't know that, oh, they thought, you know, it's like $35. You know, I mean, this matters to people, to younger people or people that don't have much money, and they're like, they don't want to be spending like, you know, 200, 300, 400, $500. It can go up to it. It really depends on the kind of place you go to. Like, I've seen situations where people have spent $5,000. I saw a guy crying. You know, in my short period in that bar in hostess club years ago, the one I worked in just casually for a month. You know, there's some guys like they way overspend, they get way too drunk. The girl's job is to get you to buy champagne. The girl's job is to get you to get you drunk and to get you to buy the most expensive alcohol and to rip you off. Yeah, I've seen like customers like really regretting the bill at the end of the night. It's a real scam, and a lot of things that happen too. Another one of the things that I know happens as well. Even when the girl will like, oh, I want to drink like a glass of wine, and oh please, and they'll be all, you know, it's their job to do that, and it'll be on the menu, it'll be a very expensive, nice glass of wine, but it's going to be actually raspberry juice or apple juice or something like that. That happened 100% in the place I worked in. I was the one putting in the apple juice into the, like, you know, $70 glass of wine that was actually like, you know, like 50 cents worth of apple juice. So this kind of thing happens in, you know, these kinds of places. Like I said, they're all kind of, you know, they vary in range from like, you know, very kind of normal, casual, even maid cafes. You know, you're probably less likely to get ripped off in a maid cafe. They're a little more like, I don't know, innocent or systemized or something. Not that I've been to one once just to check it out. Weird experience, but yeah, the ones you really want to watch out for, the seedier ones, and because yeah, you can get ripped off, pay a lot more money than you you know, that you think you're signing up for. You know, the other ones, obviously there are you know, the hostess clubs. These again range in like, you know, range in an entire range of qualities and styles and things like that, from very cheap to very expensive. And I guess you can get ripped off in any of them. Again, reiterate, a lot of these places you won't even be able to go into, but it's the ones that you will be allowed into that you want to watch out for. Because maybe they know that you're a foreigner, so they're maybe even more likely to try and rip you off. You know, so yeah, I mean, certainly in the higher end hostess clubs, you could yeah, you could very easily spend like thousands of dollars, thousands of USD, especially if you were drunk and you, you know, some girl, sometimes they might not even, they might just say, "Can I have a drink?" They won't tell you what drink they're going to buy, and then you know they'll order a bottle of champagne or something, and it'll that champagne could cost 1,000 US dollars. Like so, if you're like some kind of yeah, like some just normal dude, like you're not gonna be wanting to spend $1,000. Like maybe you might not even be able to pay it. Like you know, and I really don't know. I don't know what would happen in that situation. I mean, yeah, it would. As I said, Japan's a safe country, but it'll just turn into a shit show. They'll try and intimidate you. They'll bring out some of the, like all of these places are ran by like the Yakuza, like Japanese like mafia, and it's not that I consider them very dangerous or very intimidating, to be honest, but you don't want to be dealing with that kind of messiness. You don't want to be involved in that kind of, you know, not having money and then getting intimidated, getting like, you know, it just gets messy. You don't want to deal with that kind of thing while you're either traveling or living here. It's good. It's not going to be a good situation. And who knows? I mean, you might even though you might have been scammed, you could end up getting arrested. Like, cause who knows? Maybe like for a lot of times, I think that, you know, there's some bribery going on. I don't know. I think maybe some police are getting money because these places are operating in plain sight, you know, and they're quite obviously, you know, I think they're all it's all ran by the mafia here. As I said, you're not really going to have problems with the mafia. Aren't picking the Yakuza aren't picking fights with randomers and for no reason. They're not looking for trouble. They're trying to make money, maybe in the not the most moral ways, but you know, I'm just reminding you, if you are in Japan and you're curious about going to these places, you want to be aware of what's going on. Like the price you see at the door, the price you're told is not, you know, it's not probably not going to be the price you pay at the end of the night. And here I would say avoid these kind of places. But if you were just kind of wanting to see them for cultural purposes and you want to see what they're about, you know, because I was curious about what, you know, what goes on in these kind of places. What's the deal? Like, you know, it's because they are a very Japanese kind of thing. You know, they're kind of modern versions of like geisha establishments. You know, geisha is, for anyone who doesn't know, are the women in you know, the hostesses from, you know, way back in the day that have the white faces wearing the kimonos and, you know, that would entertain men in places like Kyoto and whatnot. But I mean, it's evolved a lot from those days. I mean, those kind of places still exist. You know, very fancy hostess clubs where the girls would wear kimonos and whatnot. I'm you know, I guess like, you know, older businessmen would go to these kind of places, but certainly these places would be very, very expensive. You know, so it's just something to keep in mind. I mean, again, there's all kinds of, you know, these places all over Japan. There's even places they're called like seku kyabas. It means sexual, I guess, sex kyabas. It doesn't literally mean you can have sex in them, although I know guys that have. These are places where they're kind of like titty bars, I guess. It's like nomi hodai, all you can drink for an hour for a certain set price. Again, these places, you know, you can get ripped off very easily in these places, because yeah, the girls will ask you to order drinks, and then they'll order champagne, then you're down bad. Like the entrance fee could have been like 60, 50, 60 bucks, and then at the end of the night you could be paying over $1,000. So these things happen. These things happen all the time. Like they happen all the time to Japanese people, to foreign people, to a lot of guys get really scammed and ripped off. It's funny because we in the media and everything, it talks about women getting taken advantage of, but a lot of men get heavily exploited by these kinds of establishments and systems. It's just so much better to learn game, and it's better to just get involved in picking up chicks without resorting to having to go to these kind of places. As I said, you might just be curious. You might just, like me, I was like genuinely curious. I wanted to know what they're like. But in that case that you do go, be careful. And my advice would be, if you were to go to one of these places and you're not wanting to spend a lot of, you just want to, spend how much money was, the original price was, pay up front and say, listen, tell me when the time's up. I only want 1 hour. No mi hodai, just all you can drink, and I'm done after that. And tell the staff that. And when the girl asks you to buy her drinks, just don't buy her drinks. That's what you have to do if you don't want to get really ripped off. These are just I just think people should know about these places, because there's so many foreigners in Japan right now, tourists. Not in general. I mean, it's not like it's overrun by foreigners, but there's a lot of people traveling here. So you just have to be careful. I mean, there's about that aspect of it. I mean, the thing about Japan, there's not a lot of strip clubs. I mean, there are some. Again, same kind of thing. A lot of these places will have like a set price that it's kind of different from the West, where you just can go in and buy a drink or whatever and then leave after. Here you have to pay a certain fee up front for all you can drink. I mean, it sounds good, but it you can get caught out by the extra fees, where you think, oh, I paid up front. I thought that was it, but at the end of the night, they'll always have extra taxes, extra charges, foreigners can get I think foreigners can get, Westerners can get a lot drunker, than Japanese, they drink quite regularly, but they can't really handle their alcohol. So yeah, I mean, it's can catch you out. So yeah, I would honestly, if you're really trying to have a good time in Japan and meet girls, the best way possible is cold approach. I'm that's what I teach, that's what I do. Cold approach, how to meet girls the best way possible. Forget about the dating apps, forget about I wouldn't say totally forget about Nightlife. It can still produce some results. It has a lot of crossovers with just regular cold approach. You're still just approaching a girl in real life, not like swiping on some app that you're missing out. You're never gonna match with 99% of the girls, and the girls you do match with, you're just kind of okay, I guess I'll take what I can get kind of thing. But when you see a girl in real life, cold approach, it's just benefited me, man. I just did a boot camp there 2 days ago, and man, we approached hundreds of girls, got tons of contacts. It was it's just, every time I do a boot camp, I'm like, it's just nothing beats cold approach. It's just the best way for the vast majority of guys. But in Japan, it's nuanced. It's not there's ways to do it. There's a lot of there's a lot of things you have to look out for in the way that you approach, your mannerisms, you know, how you speak to the girl. So, you know, that's how I help guys, you know, speed up, you know, get their game up to the level that's required in Japan to score girls. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions that Japan is like, it's easy mode. If you're a foreigner, it's like complete garbage, it's just there's no truth to it at all. It's like Japan is hard to pick up girls if you're a foreigner, especially Tokyo. Tokyo is probably, you know, I mean, it's the largest city. You know, it's very status driven. So, you know, it's hard. A lot of coldness in Tokyo. So your game needs to be good, really good, to succeed at cold approach. But when your game is good, man, it opens up a whole new world. So yeah, if you're interested in that, if you're traveling to Japan, if you're coming here want to come here to live, you know, or even if you're doing game where you're at in your home country, same thing requires. If you can game in Japan, you can game anywhere in the world. Japan is like doing game on hard mode. Absolutely is like doing game on hard mode, regardless of what any other crap anyone says. Oh, Japan is easy, it's so easy. Garbage. Not any truth to that. Straight up, been here a decade. I know exactly what's up with game here. So yeah, like I said at the start of the video, like, comment, subscribe, book a free consultation in the description. I do boot camps, we can talk about that if you're interested in that. I do them all over Japan. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Any questions, any other topics you want me to discuss about Japan, leave a comment. All right, peace out, bye bye.